I'm Alana Cerrone O'Hare.
And I'm Nick Millard.
Welcome to PVD POV, where we bring you new insights into the coolest little city in the smallest state.
Whether you're a local looking to uncover hidden gems or a visitor eager to dive into our vibrant culture, we've got you covered.
Each week, we'll be chatting with the movers and shakers right here in Providence, from restaurant owners to hoteliers and everyone in between.
And this week on PVD POV, we have two great guys from Irregardless Biscuit. They're the owners and founders, James Dean, James Dean, that's just a great name by itself.
That's a great name.
And then
he was born to be this guy.
To be something. And then Joe Hafner, who is another great guy who started off Johnson & Wales. He did a lot of food stuff there. He used to work at Gracie's for a while. Yes. I think like 4 years. But he's got a very long resume in food. Both of them actually have a decent resume in food. And then they opened up a biscuit place.
And we were lucky enough to actually be there in person. So, of course, that came along with some great food. Not biscuits, believe it or not. We had cookies.
Yeah, the cookies were delicious.
Go for the biscuits, stay for the cookies.
They made it home just a little bit.
Mine didn't.
But, you have extra reasons to
I hope my kids aren't listening.
Yeah, that's okay. You got to share the podcast with the kids.
Yeah, exactly.
They gotta enjoy what you do. But no, the cookies made it home, and the kids enjoyed them thoroughly. But we had a great talk with them about everything biscuit related.
All of their recent success, including some recent accolades that we'll get into. And they really have been, they really kind of made a splash when they came on the scene only a year ago. So we were really excited to talk to them. We think you'll love them. So turn us up and get ready to experience Providence from a whole new perspective. So we're here today at Irregardless Biscuit with James Dean and Joe Hafner. And just so happens to be, we timed this perfectly because they're coming up on a whole year in business. So congrats to you guys and thanks for having us.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Thanks.
Once a restaurant can make it to a year.
Yeah, exactly.
We're getting close.
Yeah.
We're getting close.
Yeah. We're not jinxing.
No.
I think we're March 1st.
March 1st.
March
Okay.
1st.
All right. Yeah, we got a little time.
Coming
This actually podcast might come out around then too. So maybe we can time it.
We can mark the anniversary.
Yes.
You know that's Saturday, right? March 1st.
Hey, we can get the team to work on this and get this out. What do you think?
Work overtime, Brian.
Yeah, we'll get there.
So you probably have heard about Irregardless Biscuit if you haven't been here yet, because the lead up to you opening was everyone was anxious to get in here. And since then, it has been so popular. Some recent accolades that we want to talk about. And you guys have always been great partners for us here at the CVB. So congrats on all your success. Let's talk about kind of the inspiration behind the business, where the idea came from.
So originally we started out as a pop-up on Broadway, right next to the Broadway Bistro, where Hotline Pizza is right now. And it was originally just a one-off thing sort of during the pandemic to kill time. Out another restaurant, the Slow Road, we were slow there. It was a lot of time on our hands. And I had a bunch of flour from North Carolina that needed to be used. I used to bring it up when I would take trips home, but I had a bunch to use to make biscuits. So we did a biscuit pop-up. It went well. And then that first time turned into a sort of a monthly thing to a bi-weekly thing, and then an everyday thing. An every weekend thing, and then sort of like a job. After that. So
You did it for fun.
We did. It started out as fun, total fun project. I did 10,000 small businesses during the pandemic, and this was my project to get it into a business. That was the project I used.
And so you just happen to have that so much flour that you had from why did you have so much left over there?
I used to bring it up just to make them for myself and friends and stuff like that. So we had, I just had enough to do it. I'd not done that since the pandemic, and I still had the flour. So we did, like I said, and the pop-up was just one day. It was a Saturday. The first one was a Saturday, and then it went to Saturday, Sunday after that. So. And
actually, the pickup truck that you used when you drove down to North Carolina is right outside, and he'd come back with these
pallets of it.
From right around his hometown in North Carolina. Whose recipe was this for biscuits?
It's my mama's recipe.
Mama.
She's passed away, but yeah, it was her recipe. We used to make. She made them all the time. For us, or down south, Up here, I guess the closest thing, like when you're at a convenience store, you'd see pizza strips
Right.
on the side of the cash register. Down south, it's like sausage biscuits. You could grab a sausage biscuit, like it wrapped in cellophane
meant
down
to be
south.
there.
Yeah. So,
Grab a sausage biscuit
yeah,
at the gas station.
it is. They're everywhere. And so that was the sort of thing. It was her recipe. The biscuit recipe was hers. And I'd use that and just, built it to where we could scale it. And that was that. And then we just started adding. It started out as, basic sausage, egg and cheese, sausage, bacon, egg and cheese, country ham. I was bringing up from North Carolina, and fried chicken and things like that. And those are all standards down south.
That sounds delicious, and I am sorry to say this, I have yet to try the biscuits yet. Unfortunately, I know we need. Yeah, it just never happened. They were
Every
brought
time
back.
we brought back to the office, you weren't there.
I wasn't there, or if I was on a super diet, and I'm just I don't really feel like I can't do it. I'm sorry, but I will try the biscuits.
Yes.
And we'll, at some point we definitely will. But how did that turn into for both of you to kind of get together to work on this project? Joe, you were up over here.
No, I was out. I was cooking privately, and I was in where was that? Jackson, Wyoming. Was living in Jackson for 2 years after the pandemic. So I worked for this guy, and he wanted to move to the middle of the country, like during the tail end of the pandemic. So I ended up out there and stayed for 2 years, and it was getting pretty lonely out there because there wasn't much contact as far as the protocol for working with that guy.
Sure.
So yeah, there just wasn't. It wasn't like I was hanging out and going skiing every
We
day.
can't name names.
Right.
Of,
Yeah,
of,
no,
of
not at
this
all.
person.
But that got a little bit long in the tooth, and I came back, and I was thinking about teaching at Johnson and Wales. But when I came back, I started helping James with the pop-up, and we had looked at this location at 94 Carpenter for years, for a very long, since before it was kitchen. And unbeknownst to me, James had mentioned, you talked to somebody about if it ever went up for sale. So
I talked to I knew Howard. I talked to Howard a couple times, and
if you ever wanted out.
he was just never, he was not leaving. So I just said, hey, but if you ever do,
yeah,
and it's a great spot for something like this too, especially when like you have a not limited menu, but like you have a very focused menu on what you guys are doing.
Yes.
People can come in. You're open 3 days?
3 days a week right now. Yep.
Super exclusive.
That's the allure of this place is like the size. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like alluring and that's what I remember about kitchen. I remember the bacon and the food of course was great, but like the size, it's kind of just part of its
right, and you couldn't always get in at kitchen. But it was a great place because it was the right price, it was the right size to try it out without, killing ourselves.
Yeah.
And it already had some street cred because he had been pretty popular, and the shtick there was the food was great, but you couldn't get in. Like he would get when you had the table. How many tables were there?
There were 6. He had 6 tables in here, and we've got 5.
And and his thing was once you had the table, that's it. You could stay as long as you wanted. And people would stand there and stare at you until you left.
Exactly.
So that was like a bit of a double-edged sword. So we cleared it out and made it so it's kind of half standing room only and half tables, but we can only fit 5 tables in here.
And to the people that are watching on our video side of the podcast, you can see like this is it.
This is it.
This is it. Like the kitchen's over there.
Right.
We are here. The door to the entrance is right there.
Yep.
So like this is all of it.
And quirks. I mean, a lot of people. I mean, I like quirks when I go to restaurants. Good quirks are good things. That sets restaurants apart. And I think this space, like I said, the quirks it has kind of set it apart when he had it, and hopefully it kind of sets us apart.
It shows that it's run by human beings.
Exactly.
Right? Like,
it certainly
you
is.
just kind of
It's
feel
not
more at home.
Cookie cutter. It's not cookie cutter.
Definitely not. Definitely
for sure.
not.
And let's talk about the West Side.
The West
We
Side.
love this neighborhood.
Yes.
And
West Side's the best side.
This is your. Both of you live.
We both live.
Yeah, I've been here since I moved to Providence. I've been when I came here to go to grad school. I've been here.
And we've been talking about that. We were talking about that earlier about how long you've been here and when you're considered a Rhode Islander at that point. So how long? I
don't know that I'm considered. I've been here over 20 years. So I'm waiting to get my street stamp that says I'm a Rhode Islander.
Also, with your contributions like Slow Road, Irregardless Biscuit, you teach at RISD. I feel like you're a Rhode Islander.
I want to be.
Yes.
I want to be. So.
And you too, Joe, because you're from Philly.
I don't think he's ever leaving.
Yeah.
He talks about moving back down south.
Well,
that's not going to happen.
No.
Yeah.
That's how you know that he's a Rhode Islander because we don't leave.
Yep.
So
I came back.
Yeah.
You came back. A lot of people that moved.
I like it here of all the places.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
And you've had a pretty extensive career in culinary and restaurants here too.
Yeah. It started in Europe, and then Johnson and Wales, where I went to school, and then did some Europe and came back and worked at Gracie's. Did that for about 5.5 years, and then I ended up being a private chef after that. So did that for like 12 years. So I lived in Santa Barbara, Jackson, Wyoming, Nantucket, and then made my way back here. But I like it here. I prefer to be here.
Exactly. And the name. So one of the funny things, about the name is that a lot of people don't realize irregardless isn't a word until you.
Well, it actually is a word.
Yeah.
It actually is a word,
Yeah.
but everybody thinks it's not a word,
Right,
but it
they
actually
tell
is
you
a
it's
word.
not a
It's not a
word.
word. And
Well, didn't it get added into the dictionary?
it did. Yes, it
Yes.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After you open.
It was.
Right, not far before, maybe like 2 or 3 years ago.
So
I don't know how, but the whole thing is it actually is a word,
Okay.
but the
the AP Style Guide accepts it as a word now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Really?
yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
You need to
news.
have the updated AP Style
I
Guide.
feel like a lot of people say irregardless. It's just
Yeah.
No,
Oh,
the AP can't report on us unless they say it's a word. So,
right.
exactly.
And where did the name come about?
Well, James can tell you.
So when I had started the pop-up, the thing was it was not supposed to be a business, and regardless was not supposed, it's not, at that point in time wasn't really considered a word, so it just kind of fit. It's a word I liked. I used it even when it wasn't
Right.
a word, so it just and like I said, it was never supposed to be a business, and that was the thing. It was never, everybody's like, it's not a word. I was like, well, it's not a business either. So
And we thought about changing it. We were batting ideas around for months, and then eventually it became go time. And then it actually helped us because you would see like debates in the comments, which like upped the engagement.
Oh, yeah.
People would freak out about it. Like, I won't eat there.
It's not a
a
word.
word.
Yeah,
it's not a
Yeah.
word. Come
Yeah. And then it was great to see somebody else come in and say, well, too bad. That's good.
Yeah.
So yeah.
A name has a
worked
lot
out.
of pull.
Has a lot of
you know
staying
what I
power.
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And especially
worked for us.
Especially it's one word too. So
Yeah.
like people get intrigued by it. So like because it's not Irregardless Biscuits, it's Irregardless.
no, it's irregardless biscuit.
Is Irregardless Biscuits?
it is our Irregardless Biscuits.
Oh,
That's
okay.
our full
Full
name,
name.
but Irregardless is how people sort
So
of
it's
know us.
so it's your proper name is Irregardless.
Regardless
Yeah.
Biscuit Company.
Yeah.
But
Mr. Biscuits.
Yeah. And there are other irregardlesses. There's an irregardless, another irregardless in North Carolina. I think it's like
What do they sell?
I think it's a vegetarian restaurant. There's one in DC.
It's different end of the spectrum.
Not a bit. None of them are biscuit places.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
we're not big enough yet for a copyright battle, but
Yeah.
so, yeah.
We'll hopefully get into that point. Get up to that point.
Yeah.
And that's the goal, I think, which you guys were talking about. I think is trying to expand here once you get a foothold, or
Yeah.
is that what you're thinking?
I
The
mean,
whole
yeah. I mean,
thing, maybe?
we're trying. We for us, like finding a location that works. I mean, I think part of the reason the lure over here, or part of the reason it works, is because we're on the west side. I mean, we do get a lot of people from everywhere, but when we started out, it was a neighborhood thing, and had a little bit of cachet because of the slow road, and Joe had cachet from working at Gracie's. It just worked. I mean, this is a community. I mean, this is a real. This is a neighborhood over here, and I like I said, I love it over here, and we got great support from locals, like people just walking down the street to stop in and or placing an order online and walking and picking it up on when we were on Broadway, and it just worked over here. So trying to recreate that. Somewhere else is like it's tough, and you look around and finding those kind of spots is tough. But eventually, absolutely.
Yeah, and I can see because you live in here, people around here, so that's so again, trying to open it up somewhere else, you wouldn't have the same vibe,
Right.
and of course, I mean,
This is a special neighborhood.
and you wouldn't be able to find the same small.
It would be the
location.
vibe that fits whatever we're looking for the right location that has a feeling when you walk in, like this place.
Yeah.
And then we'll expand. But we're still like a year in March.
Yeah.
And we're still bearing down and getting our system set. And so we just do continuous quality improvement every day. And when we get there, we'll really start looking. Or if a great location pops up. We've had a few.
Or if somebody's got a great location now.
Right,
if it's a
right.
great location now, we'll put it in there. If the
Contact us
feeling's
at
right.
401.
Exactly.
Yeah, right. We knew we wanted
And
this
a
spot.
pocket full of money. Yeah.
Correct. But it took us, we were here, we thought it was going to be 2 months. Come in, clean it up, flip it around. But once we started tearing the place apart, it ended up taking 8 months, which added to the hype. and added to, you know,
The cost.
the cost. It added to the cost, and it just, the whole thing evolved, and it ended up taking about maybe a year and 2 or 3 months from when we started negotiating the lease until we opened. So it was at a fever pitch by the time we opened. Yeah.
And for someone who I remember talking with you a year ago, and you were like, we're kind of choosing not to do like a hard launch, you know, we kind of were just letting word of mouth happen, and and the lines. I mean, this place was buzzing.
It was nuts.
In the media picked it up in Boston, and you know, recently you had the USA Today 10 Best award, but it's just always been positive feedback, and I like hearing about where people are coming from too to visit. It's like all over the country.
Yeah, it's true. We tried to keep it on the down low, and then we ended up at like Eater before we opened, and then you guys came in, and it was nutty the first day. And we had sold like 100 biscuits, 150 biscuits at the pop-up.
Yeah, we would do. I'm sorry, we'd do something like nowhere near the number
in a day.
Here.
Like
in a day, we'd do
like
150, 180, 120. You know, it was, you know, nowhere near like our first day. I mean, the line down the block, we could have sold 1,000 biscuits the first day.
Yeah.
What did you sell? The first day?
6 and change.
6 and change.
Wow.
We just
you were maxed out. You were like,
and people were. It was crazy. People were waiting.
What was 45
minutes for a biscuit for something that shouldn't take that long.
Yeah,
it was our fault. So.
Well, and you guys have evolved now, because your big thing that you have now is every 15 minutes you get fresh biscuits out the line, right?
Yeah, we had no idea how many people would come. Like he was saying, maybe nobody will come. That was like the debate we were having as we sanded the floors a week before we opened, and maybe we'll sell 200 biscuits. And we were just trying to figure it out, and then the line was like 2 blocks down, and it was taking 45 minutes for a biscuit. So we quickly evolved to make that 10 minutes. And then just about a month ago, we reconfigured the kitchen. So now we bake the biscuits every 10 to 15 minutes.
How many biscuits come out of the oven, like in one batch?
Well, they are the 24 to a tray.
Okay.
So we'll do 2 or 4 trays every 10 or 15 minutes. Oh, wow. And we'll do that from 9 to 3 and just continually.
On a normal day, how many biscuits do you think you guys sell through?
It varies depending on the weather.
On a good day. Yeah.
A good day, 500,
and change.
Yeah, it's like that's the thing. Like we were talking about, like the hard promotion and thing. Eventually, that dies down, and like you're either good and people like it, or you're. I don't want to say you're not, but people either like it and they keep coming back,
right?
And you and the hype, and you sort of you level off and things like that. And we've done that, but it's still busy.
It's
like
still,
500 baking 500 biscuits a day.
That's no small order.
Is still a task. Yeah. And baking them every 15 minutes now. They're better. They're much better.
They're
like that.
way better.
They're
way.
It's night and day from what we were doing. And
what we used to do was come in at 4 a.m. Our baker Aaron would come in at 4 a.m. and bake whatever. We'd have to guess how many we're going to sell, and then she'd bake whatever 450. We'd sell it at noon, and then we were reheating them. It was a whole logistical nightmare. So it turns out that baking biscuits to order seems harder, but it's actually easier because we can just put them in and like work to the volume. You know,
because that kind of reminds me of like some of the donut shops around here that have. They make them at night.
We have to guess.
They have to make them, so they guess, and then it's like, they post on social media, we're closed, we're sold out by like 11 o'clock.
Which is good. It brings hype, right? By saying we're sold out. Every day we'd say we're sold out, but eventually, we have people come.
Pizza, they do that.
They do it well too, right? But when people come in now that are new, we say, "Where are you from?" and they say, "We've come by so many times and there's a line." We're able to put the food out in 3 to 5 minutes and have a biscuit that's no less than 15 minutes old, and the quality's super high. But with that in mind, we try not to be trendy, even though like biscuits are kind of trending right now. And we just base it on what we learned in fine dining is, great customer service, consistent food, all of it's homemade. And we're just friendly when people come through the door. That's the vibe. We're just trying to have a nice time.
Star, Erin Richer.
She's awesome.
Your head baker.
Yes.
Is she usually the main person back there, or does she have help?
Well, she makes all the biscuits. She makes all the
biscuits for the most part. We all know how to do it, but our preference is to have Erin.
So when she started over at the pop-up, and so she was like, technically she was, I think I told you this, the second employee ever. But she wanted to learn to make them, and I was getting up at like 3, 4 in the morning to go and make. This is like after working all week. I was getting up like on Saturday morning, like, and going and making 200, 150, whatever we were making that day. She wanted to learn how to make them. I was like, here you go, come in. This is, and like without her, that doesn't happen over there, and this doesn't happen. I mean, that's the truth. Like, she is a rock star. She is also a workhorse. She comes in,
she likes
coming in.
She likes
early.
coming at 2 if she could.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's one of those rare people.
She is rare.
She is rare.
She is rare. Yes.
And she like adds to the whole, like, our team's very small.
Yeah.
And Erin's a big part of the the motivation to be here every day. And she's just psyched
Yeah.
to do whatever the vision is. Erin's going to row in that direction
It's
for us.
all like they walk in, order at the counter. It's not like there's wait staff, right?
No.
Right. So everyone who's working is working.
No, there's 2 people like barista style in the back making drinks. And
Yeah. Coffee's really good, by the way.
Yeah, coffee's delicious. We've been sipping on this.
James,
the whole
tell
time
them
we've been
about the
here.
coffee.
Yeah. Where's the coffee from?
Countercultural coffee from Durham, North Carolina. That's sort of a labor of love for me. I worked at a restaurant down there called the Magnolia Grill that was in Durham, and we were one of their first commercial customers. And the 46, which is a blend we use, was the chef I work for, the owners I work for, Ben and Karen Barger. That was their blend, their house blend. They used it at the Magnolia Grill, and so I always love that coffee, and that's what we're using.
It's delicious.
Little taste of Carolinas up here in Providence.
Yeah, just a little bit, along with the biscuits too.
Yeah, I mean they're obviously a Southern thing, and like you said, it's when you're in the South, like people are picky about their biscuits, and like pizza strips up here.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I don't know the first thing about biscuits except that I like them.
Yeah. Do you get people from down south coming up and
commenting
about?
They love them. Everybody,
Yeah.
we've got nothing but positive. I mean, the flowers from, like I said, the flowers from down south.
Yeah. And it really makes that big of a difference.
Yeah, it's winter wheat,
soft,
so it's softer.
Yeah.
So, and then the mill we get it from, it all comes from one field, one farm. I mean, it is just, and it's a small mill, and like I said, my mama used it, and that's what we used, and so that's where I got it from.
And you can keep the consistency then, because
Exactly.
you know exactly where it's coming from, where like how it's being processed. It's all the same.
Correct.
You know, it's different. I guess maybe if you're working in a bigger restaurant type thing, you're getting ingredients from different places. You could have a bad batch.
Yes,
for sure.
Yeah.
But like with this, that you're getting quality product.
I
all the
like
time.
to use flour that's from Stop and Shop, and it's expired.
Oh, right.
If it just reaches the point of expiration and then you use
Wait,
it, which is
yeah.
what I do.
Wait.
That's why everything turns out so good. What?
Flour expires.
Apparently,
It can.
Yeah. It can.
Okay, I might
that
have to
must
check
be
my
why
pantry.
nothing
It
tastes
can.
good
It can
on
get
me.
flat.
2016.
Well, we use self-rising, so there's leaveners in it.
Okay.
The leaveners tend to go. The leaveners will go before the flour
How long do you think?
goes.
It depends. Like, we have to store it. It can't be too hot.
Yeah.
Or it'll lose its kind of efficacy.
Yeah.
So storing my flour in the floor of my pantry
No.
is probably not the best bet. Okay.
Yeah.
In
All
the
right.
trunk of my car because I forgot it
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
after my
yeah.
trip to-
We do
In the
have
summer, that's really good.
yeah.
The summer does it.
It's just pre-baking the flour,
Yeah.
right? Just gonna
Exactly,
think
a
about
little
it that way.
roasted blend.
Now, I know we have some cookies here on the
Yes.
table too. Are these
my God,
these
they're
things
so
that
good.
were
These are available. Yeah. We have a kind of limited room with the size of the kitchen, so we
Yeah.
always have like 2 to 5 baked goods at a time. But 2 things that are constant is the toffee cookie. That's brown butter, homemade toffee, or we'll get it from Anchor Toffee.
Love that.
Depending on if we have time to make the toffee.
Yeah, Peter's good guy.
Yeah, Peter's the man. He was one of my professors at Johnson & Wales.
Oh, yeah?
Great. He's
Yeah.
the nicest guy ever. And
He was in my 10K SB class.
Right. He's just been a friend to both of us.
Peter's he's a great guy. He was in my cohort
Okay.
at 10,000 Small Businesses. Yeah.
Oh, I thought maybe 10 KSB was a marathon.
No. It's a Goldman Sachs program they run through. I think it's run through CCRI. But I got in, like I said, I got into it during the pandemic to do this to try to convert this to a business. Peter was doing it with Anchor Toffee. He was in my cohort.
Was he already Anchor Toffee as a location or no?
He was already Anchor Toffee, and I think he was in Newport then, and he was trying to expand, and that was his project was to move to where he is at Farm Fresh now. So
They were a Hope and Main business too.
yeah, exactly. He
Yeah.
might have been at Hope and Main, and it just opened in Newport. I can't remember exactly,
That
but
sounds
Yeah,
right.
I didn't know that James knew him. We've known each other for like 25 years. I didn't know James knew Peter. And then I went to pick up toffee one day, and he's like, "Oh, Peter."
And this shows you how Rhode Island.
It's Rhode Island.
Is,
Yeah.
is the way it is.
100%.
Because even you two, who are not from Rhode Island,
No.
Right.
come together, and then it's the connectivity of Rhode
Yeah.
Island. It's like
Yep.
everybody's like 2 degrees of separation here. Honestly.
Seriously.
Well, if he doesn't know him, I do. Like that's pretty
Yeah.
much what we've discovered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, so it's
These
dark
are
and milk chocolate. I kind of spent like a year or two developing that recipe, and then Aaron and James, like we all pitched in,
Yeah.
and ripped it apart and put it back together, and now we sell
It's
a ton of
perfect.
Yeah, thank
And
you.
then that's like a s'mores? What is that?
That's a hot cocoa cookie that Aaron
Oh.
came up with. So it's 2 different types of chocolate, dark chocolate powder, and then marshmallows on top halfway through baking.
It is
and that's
really
like
good.
crispy on the side, and you crack it open in it. It's,
Yeah.
it's kind of like s'mores,
Oh,
Yep.
but we call it a hot cocoa cookie. And then we have cornbread from time to time.
Okay.
From time to time, I do love myself some cornbread too, but I'll definitely have to be trying that cookie.
I got a sample ahead of time
I know
because
you got
I
the sample
am
of that one
pregnant.
too.
And I'm
Well,
special.
that's okay. You got the special treatment over here. With,
Yes.
It now moves like very fast here, so it has to be something that like the drinks have to come out fast.
Yep.
Like with the coffee, we had no room for a espresso suite. We'd love to have that. James
Yeah.
actually knows a ton about coffee,
Oh, nice.
but we just couldn't fit it. So we went with
True.
drip and the small menu that we have. And baked goods,
Still really
it's
good.
like 4 to
goes,
6.
It goes with it,
Yeah.
especially the size of the place. The I feel like that goes with the biscuits a little bit.
Yeah.
more.
Yeah,
They're
yeah. I
working
mean,
on
it's
the-
not. I mean, most people aren't ordering like an espresso and a biscuit, like or well, I guess maybe they are biscotti, something, But yeah, most it's like coffee and a biscuit generally, and we do have like we serve a Nola cold brew, which is we just add chicory syrup to our coffee.
Yeah.
And a little bit of milk. So that's a New Orleans. That's a stand. That is a
Sounds
New
it.
New
All right,
Orleans
we'll have
thing.
to try
so.
that out next.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
Too.
And hibiscus tea. Yeah.
Biscuits are like, they can be a dinner thing too, right?
Yeah.
Biscuits.
Yeah, because what kind of sandwiches do you guys? What's like the mainstay of what goes on the biscuits? Like what's your favorite?
They sell pretty evenly. It used to be, so at the pop-up, right, it was fried chicken by a country mile.
Landslide. Yeah, we serve fried chicken with hot honey, and
I love the hot honey.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then bacon, egg, and cheese, sausage, egg. Those are just standards.
Yeah.
Breakfast. Yeah.
But now it's changed. We have kind of 6 sandwiches that sell equally, but
Yeah.
chicken gets it. The thing we sell the most of now is a Howard's biscuit.
I was going to say the Howard's is what
What's
I
on the
like.
Howard's biscuits?
So the Howard used to own Kitchen, which was in this
Oh, okay,
location, and he's passed away.
Yep.
And his thing was he sold like a huge slab of bacon
Oh.
for like $15, like slow roasted bacon.
Yeah.
So we took that and made that like a thick cut bacon sandwich, and we add maple syrup to it.
Yeah.
And so served that with egg and cheese, and that just like took off. The fried chicken with country gravy.
Yeah, Phil's biscuit. That's we have a customer, Phil. He's from Alabama. He came religiously to the pop up every weekend.
Nice.
He and his dog Tater, and they're here.
Tater's
Tater's a good dog.
Good dog.
It's a very southern dog.
Yeah, he's
Seriously.
but he's from Phil's from Florence down the shoals in Alabama, and that's so he gets sausage gravy on top of the chicken biscuit. So we name a biscuit for him.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So is that all you have to do to get a biscup named after you? Is come
Show
here
up every weekend.
Every
and-
weekend?
yeah, show up every
All right.
weekend.
Every weekend.
Hey,
Alana.
want to whip up a new cookie recipe? I'll give you some ideas.
We'll have to have a
The Alana.
new Alana biscuit.
And we sell when we were doing Rhode Island Monthly, Best of Rhode Island.
Yeah.
We they were taking the picture for the cover, and we had to come up with something pretty. Heirloom tomatoes came in, so we made the bacon arugula and tomato, which
Yeah.
is like a huge seller. And then we have, I guess, the South Philly, which is pork roll.
Is that for you?
Yeah, that's something that I eat. And
Yep.
and then my nephew who works here, we like pork roll sandwiches, so we made that, not knowing
Yeah.
if it would sell, but it kind of slowly took off.
Yeah.
And we saw a ton of that too, and hash browns, a lot of hash browns.
You know what? This is going to
A
be
lot.
great for when people come in. So we're talking about our crazy March here in
Yes.
Providence. And of course, Comedy Festival, Culinary Festival. But we start out with NCAA. We've got the wrestling tourney hosted by JWoo that second week of March. And then we go into March Madness, which everyone, of course, you know, the basketball tournament, first and second rounds. And we could have schools up for the Eastern region. James knows a lot more than I do, but we're going to have people from all over the place,
About the
as
ball
they
games.
say, about the ball games.
Yeah.
And so they might come in here and be like, oh, like Southern biscuits. Like we might get some Southern people from North Carolina.
I'll bet.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so.
Yes.
Yeah, if Duke is the number one seed, they'll be here. I think for the East region.
Yeah, for sure.
That's
That'd be
exciting.
good because they're in Durham. And that's right in the heart of right in the middle of the state.
We're going to be doing some promotions to whatever school.
My alma mater
Yes.
will not be a number 1 seed.
They're not going to. It'll be Duke. Before anybody.
Well, Carolina will be lucky to make the tournament this year.
But
have
we'll be pushing out towards there, so you guys will probably end up on some of our ads, or
That'd be
going to
awesome.
them. We'll get you
Well,
guys.
yeah, anyone
we'll
from
fill up the
Philly's
space.
coming and wants to get the
They do. They
You
love
know?
it. We had a lot of Eagles fans in before the Super Bowl.
yeah
Tons.
yeah, I bet.
But we get people in like post workout all the time. But the funniest thing is
you
we
have
get
a CrossFit
people.
gym around here.
Yeah, a few.
Yeah, a few.
But we get people in post yoga.
Oh.
Will come in and crush like
Do that?
huge things.
Yeah,
Yes,
wow.
yes.
It's all
funny.
about balance.
Yeah.
It's about balance.
Absolutely.
That's one thing I don't think I could do is go work out and then go eat a biscuit.
Well,
Oh,
the great
really?
one
That's
is
all I could think about.
we had a woman come in this weekend. I said, "Oh, you're coming in after yoga," and she was going before.
Oh.
She was getting a fried chicken with country gravy.
Good
Sam,
for
before
her.
yoga, and I'm okay. Before hot
Yeah.
yoga, I couldn't do that.
Oh, it's
No.
hot yoga?
Yeah, hot yoga.
Oh.
We got to follow up with her and see how that went.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
That's
Did you see her
hilarious.
again after that?
no, it was just this weekend.
So we might have to put out a missing person.
That's a
That
big
is
day.
so
Yeah.
funny. Hot yoga is no joke. I used to do it over at the Rise Mills.
See, hot
Yeah,
yoga.
it's no joke.
I mean,
I did a couple. I did like they had like a 30-day, like a $39. I went the first class I went to over there. It was like a 6 a.m. class, hot yoga.
God.
I went one more time. I was like, there's no way I
Yeah.
can get up and do
Terrible.
this.
You know what? It felt great.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was an hour and a half. It was like 45 minutes standing and then 45 minutes on the mat, just doing whatever. And you feel good afterwards. Like you feel gross, but you feel better. And
After you shower, you feel better.
Yes.
Like an hour later, right?
and like
right.
rehydrate. And the only reason that I went is because I went with my mom and my sister. So every week there was one of us who didn't want to go, so we'd all motivate each other to go.
I wish I could go. I mean, it just happened that time of the day was the only day because I got to walk the dog. I got to get ready to go to work.
Yeah.
It's like, so it was the only time of the day I could go. And then people were there like, this is your first class. You're going at 6:30. They're like, you're
It's
a trooper.
intense,
And I was
yeah.
like, it's intense first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
But no, it's something, it was great. I did not have the schedule.
Would you be able to eat a chicken biscuit?
I could not
before
eat
hot
it.
yoga?
I would not be able to eat
Okay.
a chicken biscuit before hot
Yeah, I
yoga.
don't remember you like having an appetite afterwards. I think you're just kind of like so. Ugh,
Yeah,
that-
Man, they come in.
Lots of
CrossFit I
water.
get, but
CrossFit,
the yoga
yeah.
is tough. Yeah.
and they're like you're in a Speedo basically.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, when we were
not
on,
to get too
I'm not
personal,
a
but
Speedo.
yeah.
Nobody wants to.
When
see
we
it.
were
wants
on
to see that, yeah.
Broadway, the CrossFitters, they would finish up and there would be like 13 of them. They would come
Oh,
and
yeah, I
everybody was
bet.
crushing a chicken biscuit or a
with
sausage
one to
egg.
go.
Protein.
Yeah.
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 The protein, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
I can
makes
see. I can
sense.
see it a little bit now. But so we went from biscuits to yoga to everywhere in between.
I know.
I think we got a lot out of this one here.
yes, for sure.
For sure. Thank you guys for joining us on
Thank
this
you.
episode. We hope that you guys, with the years coming up, hopefully right when this podcast comes out,
Yeah.
be about your year anniversary, and hopefully you'll have many years to come from now on.
Yeah.
And
you. We'll
I
be
cannot
here.
wait to come back in and grab a biscuit.
Come
I know
check
I'm
'em
gonna,
out.
I'm gonna grab some of these cookies that are here too.
Yeah.
I'll fight you for him, but sure, you could try.
She might win. No, she probably will win at this
Thank
point.
you guys.
Yeah.
Come check out Irregardless Biscuit, 94 Carpenter Street, right?
That's right.
That's it.
On the west
Um,
side.
Come early and stick
That's right,
around.
because it's Fridays. What is it?
Friday, Saturday,
Friday,
Sunday.
Saturday, Sunday, 9 a.m. to
9
3.
9 a.m.
That's
to
right.
3. All right, so
That's
get
right.
here at 8:30.
Before they
right?
sell out.
Yeah.
Soon to be 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you very
Thanks,
much.
guys.
Thanks so
Thank
much.
you.
All right.
PVD POV is a podcast hosted by the Providence Work Convention and Visitors Bureau in collaboration with the College of Hospitality Management and Center of Media Production at Johnson & Wales University. Hosts are Alana Cerrone-O'Hare and Nick Millard. Production by Professor Brian Lavin with assistance from the graduate students in tourism management. Episodes are available wherever you download your podcasts. Visit GoProvidence.com for more information on these stories and everything else Providence.